We are not only getting the boilerplate itself, but we could maybe say that we are getting the whole toolkit that can improve the overall development process.
The latest updates include not only the updates of the technologies and the libraries, but also a changed philosophy of the project and maybe some kind of motivation why we switched approaches to one that we follow now.
We have the standardized way to kick off the projects with the battle-tested technologies. But what are we actually getting in the Next.js Enterprise Boilerplate?
It's like the part when developers struggle the most with.
Based on numerous client cases, maybe it was an obvious choice to have the standardized way to create the applications. Hello everybody, welcome to the next episode of the Next.js Web Podcast. In today's episode, we have exciting updates in our Next.js Enterprise Boilerplate. Today, I'm joined here by Igor.
Hello.
And as I mentioned, we have some exciting open source updates. So I think we can dive straight into the topic. So maybe just to briefly bring the more context to the audience on what the Next.js Enterprise Boilerplate really is, and maybe why did we decide to create such open source?
Yeah, sure. So actually Next Enterprise is a predefined template or boilerplate of code tools and the technologies that we usually use on projects, also on client projects, and things that we think that are battle tested, and we believe that they are stable. And the latest updates include not only the updates of the technologies and the libraries, but also a changed philosophy of the project and maybe some kind of motivation why we switched approaches to one that we follow now. So just to dive into this, there are loads of boilerplates on the GitHub, on the internet, on the X, everywhere. Everyone likes to simplify their job and to accelerate their work, especially when it comes to the team's work. We wanted to do something different because just to stand out from the crowd and maybe to explore different approaches. So we thought about focusing on the large teams and on the challenges that enterprise teams would need to face without using our boilerplate. And this is why we created this update.
So that's a great insight on the update itself. Maybe you can also make a quick step back. And also, as you mentioned, the boilerplate is aiming for the teams and basically helping to create the enterprise applications. I think that the creation of the open source came in kind of the natural way. So based on numerous client cases, maybe it was an obvious choice to have the standardized way to create the applications. So maybe we can have a quick chat on the first decisions and maybe the motivation on creating the boilerplate in the first place.
So actually the motivation is kind of aligned with the question, because we wanted to have one source of truth for the boilerplate when setting the projects. And it actually helps to save a lot of time. Picking the technologies, the libraries that needs to be used in the project is kind of long. It may not seem long and hard, but it is actually. And this takes really huge effort, and especially if you want to prototype something and create some proof of concept version of your idea, it's the part when developers struggle the most with. Also, as Blazity, we wanted to share our knowledge and our approach. How do we not only set up the projects, but also develop them? And this is also a reason why we created a comprehensive documentation about the Next Enterprise.
Yeah, sounds great. So basically, we have the standardized way to kick off the projects with the battle-tested technologies, which were pretty much being used in a lot of cases. So maybe before we jump into the update itself, maybe we can have a quick stop and talk about what are we actually getting in the Next.js Enterprise Boilerplate.
That's a great question. And the technologies that we use, the exact technologies, are, for instance, the Tailwind CSS with the latest version 4, the ESLint ESLinter with also the latest version of a configuration that's called flat config format. I believe it was introduced in version 9 of ESLint. Also tools like Prettier and things to like help with the developer experience on the code level. And also loads of tools for testing actually the quality of the software and ensuring that it is on the highest level. So these technologies include like the Jest for unit testing, the Playwright for the end-to-end testing. We also provide Storybook integrated with RAG testing library, and we show how to do acceptance tests, the smoke tests. And apart from testing, we also provide like integration of the OpenTelemetry. This is crucial for the monitoring of the real user metrics.
Yeah, I mean, like, it sounds great, and it seems that the boilerplate is really feature-packed, and we have the standardized way to kick off the project with the best practices. So with this set of packages and the technologies we get there, I'm actually wondering what is the target audience for the Next.js Enterprise Boilerplate? Like, who is this made for specifically?
Sure, I will answer this in a second. I just want to go back to the feature-packed phrase. We provide features that are only crucial for the teams. This is also one of the reasons why Next Enterprise stands out from the crowd and from the rest of the boilerplates. It has the minimal amount of features needed to actually develop a battle-tested application with the battle-tested technologies, and to ensure that you have everything what you need without any unnecessary packages. Because what's the point of the boilerplate if you actually have to adjust it when you download it? One of the most important requirements for enterprise teams to be able to validate ideas quickly regarding the prototypes of the projects or starting huge new project. It doesn't matter. You just need exactly some set of technologies that you can rely on without failures. And this is what we provide, and what we aim to achieve, and our audience is tightly related to that. So let's say someone from a big company wants to validate the idea of creating a new internal tool on a Next.js. The Next Enterprise is everything he needs. Just clone the repository locally and start implementing the features. When the person needs testing, it's already there. When the person needs OpenTelemetry and testing the actual integration with some company monitoring tools, it's already there. The formatting, the linting, it's also there.
Yeah, so sounds great. It seems that we have a great starting point for creating the application. But what about the deployments? So it's a vital part of any app.
Exactly, this is the vital part, and this is also part of our update regarding the Next Enterprise, because we now include ready to deploy Terraform scripts and the CLI for, let's say, one-click deployments of the applications. And so the only thing you need to do is to actually download the CLI of the Next Enterprise and type enterprise prepare AWS, and then the funnel or the interactive form will show in a terminal with prompting you for the secrets for the AWS, the region that you want to deploy to, and it will automatically do all the things and provide a straightforward way to create a new repository on your GitHub organization, and to also take care of all the secrets, all the environments, and basically all the things that are crucial in an application. And some of the things include like web application firewall, the caching, the Redis, the elastic containers, the identity management.
Yeah, so it seems like we are not only getting the boilerplate itself, but we could maybe say that we are getting the whole toolkit that can improve the overall development process. So we have the starting point, which is the boilerplate, and also, as you mentioned, we have some CLI tools. So that kind of resembles of like the small ecosystem that just allows to ship as soon as possible in the best possible way with the best practices. That's great that we started to mention the tools such as the Enterprise CLI. So maybe we can smoothly transition to the recent updates, which I think also consist of the tool that you mentioned before. I also know that there has been some switch in the approach of how the boilerplate is being created. So maybe we can briefly talk about what is the current approach of creating the open source. So that's one. And later on, we can maybe dive into the specific parts of the toolkit that are included in the open source itself.
Yeah. So the approach is now directly focused on the team's need rather than the single developer need. And teams and especially enterprise teams are our main focus. And this is why we also care about security, about being up to date with the technology updates, with the latest vulnerabilities. We also have automatic bumping of the versions. We actually spend loads of the time for picking the technologies that we want to include there, because it's really easy to introduce like every library that is on npm, because like npm has lots of libraries. But that's not the need of a team. The need of a team is to have technologies that the team can rely on. Also, addressing your question about the parts of the toolkit, we have like the one part as Next Enterprise. The second part is the Enterprise CLI, and the third part is actually the Terraform scripts. And maybe I will explain quickly how does it behave and how it is connected to each other. So the user journey regarding our boilerplate would be cloning the repository at the first of the Next Enterprise, then installing the CLI via one copy-paste command in a terminal, and then just launching the CLI. And the CLI will like enhance your Next Enterprise repository with a Terraform scripts from a separate repository and take care of setting up all the secrets and all the things that are needed for the actual deploy. And this is what we actually aim to solve. And there are the challenges that we want to like fix for the people that may use our boilerplate.
One of the features that is, I think, important to highlight here is what you mentioned, the possibility to have the one-click deploys, basically, and especially for enterprise teams, having the freedom of choosing the cloud provider, not having the vendor lock, and just the ease of deploying for a platform that uses EIC, which is the infrastructure as a code, especially for the big teams. I think that's a vital part. Great that the open source have discovered. With that, maybe we can continue on the theme of the updates. Maybe also we can touch a little bit on how the CLI was made. I think that we have this made in Go. So maybe you can like walk us briefly on the technology, why this was used to build the CLI itself.
Let's dive technically how the CLI is built. So as you mentioned, Michał, Go is a primary technology and actually the language used to create the CLI from two reasons. The first one is that Go is actually also the language in which Terraform is created. It provides really straightforward way to interact with Terraform and all the commands, all the executions of functions through the same language interface. So this is the first reason. And the second reason is that we heavily use GitHub features as a GitHub CLI. And GitHub CLI is also created in Go. So it also provides a really straightforward interface for interacting with the commands like GitHub authentication status, the repository creation, the secrets update. We've chosen Go because we want to have really reliable connection with these technologies. So the Terraform is the first one, the GitHub CLI is the second one. And apart from that, Go has like excellent packages for creating the command line interface. And maybe not even the command line interfaces, but also the whole terminal UIs. We also use these libraries and provide to the user the simplest yet the most powerful interface in the terminal that is maybe even possible to ship. We've really spent time on keeping things simple, because simplicity is also the key to all of the large-scale operations.
I mean, like, it seems that in this case, Go was a kind of obvious choice here, and also that every technology that is being used in the open source, both in the boilerplate and in the toolkit, is well thought through. Like, no technology is there by accident. So that is a great thing to hear. And also, keeping up with the technology decisions that were made in the updates, maybe we can have a quick stop on the update from Yarn to pnpm. Why, for the first question, and maybe what benefits did it give for the boilerplate users? I think that would be super interesting.
And we not only switched from Yarn to pnpm, but also we started using Corepack. And Corepack is a technology that is built in with the latest Node.js versions that ensures the package manager is in the same version of every computer of the team. And this basically eliminates like the huge area of, let's say, this works on my machine scenario. Because everything is aligned. The package manager version is strictly locked, and there are like no areas on this level where something can't be reproduced regarding the issues and the troubleshooting of the technical problems. So this is why we chosen Corepack, and from Yarn to pnpm migration was based on the benefits that pnpm give for the developers regarding the installing the packages. pnpm has excellent feature of like creating symbolic links with the package installations, and also the ideal tree is a bit different from Yarn to pnpm, and it's fast. It's like blazing fast. So this was one of the reasons. And the second reason was actually pnpm works the best in our experience with the workspaces and the monorepos. We don't provide monorepo setup by default in Next Enterprise, but we ensure that the monorepo setup can be done without the hassle with the boilerplate, because it does matter. The monorepo setups are hard, and most of the times they actually create big problems regarding the project setup stage, regarding the development and the iterations of the development. So this was also the thing that we wanted to cover.
In the point of the enterprise CLI, I'm wondering if there were any security concerns while creating the tool itself. So specifically with the target audience, which is the enterprise teams, security is one of the most important aspects of choosing the toolkit, the technologies. So maybe you can talk us briefly on what were the decisions or maybe some implementations that ensure that the CLI is as secure as possible.
I also agree with you that the security is a main concern regarding this kind of projects, especially in like today's times when loads of bad actors are like visible in the web. The approach we've taken with creating the CLI is kind of different from regular, let's say, NPM packages and the CLIs that are known well in the web development world. Because we skipped the part where we upload the build artifacts to a registry like NPM. The installation of the CLI is a point where most of the security breaches can be really deadly to the machine or to some confidential company data. So we ensured that this specific part is highly covered in terms of security. So we created like the really long shell script that has all the pain points of installation of some external program on your device covered. And not only covered by just having features to it, but also covered in security. Because the installation of such tool is the biggest like area where the exploits can come in. And this is why we've taken approach of building everything locally. The script firstly checks if you have prerequisites to just build the CLI on your local machine. Then if you don't have this, all the programs installed like Golang or the GitHub CLI, it installs them for you automatically. And then proceeds to actually compiling the command line on your local machine. So there's no registry part, and everything happens locally.
It seems that we have the security part covered on the enterprise CLI. So let's imagine that me, my team, we want to start using the toolkit, the ecosystem. So what would be the starting point? Is there any doc site? Is there any place where I can find all of the relevant information to actually start shipping and using the boilerplate?
Yeah, so the short answer is docs.blazity.com. And the long answer is like we've created really comprehensive documentation site with all the descriptions of the features we provide, all the technical aspects, and I mean really technical aspects of the boilerplate. And not only the features are listed there, but also the stages that you would approach when setting up the project and going forward with your, let's say, idea that you want to implement in the real world. Because the project setup stage is just a starting point, as you mentioned. We have discovered, but what's next? And we also taken care of that. And there are like loads of guidelines and the patterns that are common in applications like this explained. So for instance, the component composition that is crucial for the Next.js applications, the component collocation that is also a good way to structure the projects where all the crucial logic lives near the pages. Also the like strict TypeScript configuration that we have implemented in Next Enterprise Boilerplate. And by using word strict configuration, I mean not only just setting the strict flag to true in the configuration, but also packages like TypeScript to reset by total TypeScript organization. We also covered all the business values that comes with, for instance, the TypeScript configuration, where what are the like pros and cons of these approaches. Basically, we focus on the technical aspects with business explanations and the values that it gives to the actual large companies.
Great. So it seems that the whole toolkit is in a great place right now. We have the docs, we have the enterprise-ready solutions. So basically, if you are interested in the open source, feel free to check out our GitHub or the docs page that Igor mentioned. Maybe the next question would be, what's next for the open source? I think that you have quite a big backlog of things that are going to be implemented in the open source. I'm not sure how much you can tell us, but if you can give us anything on what is being planned for the next iterations, the next implementations for the open source.
Yeah, the list of the projects that we want to create in this year is really huge, but the most recent ones that are coming to our focus and today are the projects related to the e-commerce brand. And I won't dive deeply into technicals, but we want to cover the business areas where the revenue comes from in the e-commerces. Some places of this type are the checkout page and the cart implementation. So our solutions will cover areas like this. And
yeah, nice.
This is one of the projects and one of the ideas that we want to cover with our open sources. And also we aim to go into some developer experience standardization areas where also AI applies to a developer's job. But this is just a sneak peek, and remember to also follow us and check our GitHub with all the changes, because we are really active right there and everything is being developed heavily.
Awesome. So maybe we can pick up the thing that you mentioned, which is also the incorporation of the AI tools. So maybe you can have a quick stop here and discuss also quite some of our open source solutions that also include AI.
Yeah, we have one really AI-oriented project in our open source library of projects, and it's called Nefi. The name is really short and maybe quite funny, but it stands for the Next Enterprise Feature Integrations, just the first words of this phrase. And yeah, it's exactly what it sounds to be. It's AI package manager for the feature integrations for boilerplates like Next Enterprise. And this was tool created with mind of helping like single developers to incorporate some integrations with, for instance, Clerk as an authorization and authentication solution, maybe some other third-party providers. Also, if someone wants to quickly like clean up the boilerplate, then Nefi is also a great solution when you can just type in a terminal a phrase like remove Storybook from my project, and then everything happens automatically. So this is like the purpose of the Nefi.
I think that the other AI-related topic that we wanted to mention is that we as a Blazity, we are also using the AI tools to basically work smarter and to deliver better and faster. For that, we obviously use the solutions that are bulletproof, especially for enterprise applications. We take care of the privacy of our data, so the AI tools that we use are tailored for the big projects. So that is the thing that we wanted to mention. We are also planning to make a separate episode on kind of the best practices on how to use these type of AI tools. So make sure to stay tuned for that. With that, I think we are coming to the end of the episode. We've covered a broad range of topics. We started off with the open source, with the updates, with the AI solutions that we are implementing. So guys, if you are interested in the open source solutions, please feel free to check out our GitHub. Also, visit our doc site on Blazity if you want to start using the enterprise commerce. So yeah, thank you for listening, for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you like this content. Thank you from my end.
Thank you.
Yeah, and see you in the next one.